Hello everybody, Flying Scotsman 4472 back again with another review. And today's review is of the Thomas Wooden Railway Henry. But not this one. Not this one. Get out of it. It's of this one. It is of the new 2022 Thomas Wooden Railway Henry. I'm very excited to have this one. This is one I especially wanted, especially after having Gordon. So I'm very excited, but let's just dive right into it with the box. Basically the same box as Kenji, who I did my last review on. Nice picture of the model on the front. Thomas Wooden Railway up in the corner. You got the track. Thomas Wooden Railway. You have his name on the side with that nice wood printed look. And then on the back is just more stuff. See, and it still comes with that same opening thing, so yeah. Now, let's get into Henry himself. So here is Henry the Green Engine. Oh wait, they do actually found turntables. Okay, all right, hold on. This is actually a new development. So if you all know, the big controversy with these wooden railway models is that they do not fit on turntables. However, I'm gonna try something quickly. If I just remove all of these engines from the shed. So first you get back in there, James, Edward, Emily. We put them on the turntable. If you like line him up just enough, you can just barely get him to spin. That's a bit nicer, but I mean, he still can't fit on the turntable. Either way, regardless, here is Henry. He is, I think, maybe the best model in this new wooden railway line. He's definitely the most accurate wheel configuration-wise because this is his wheel configuration. So let's actually start with the tender because that's the least interesting part. So here's his tender. It's done in the same way as all these other tenders that are for these bigger engines. They're on this longer chassis, way longer than it used to be. Here's classic Henry tender. This is actually the 2013 Henry, because I don't know if anyone remembers, but back in the 90s, this is how Henry's tender used to look. It used to just be a Gordon tender, because I have an old 90s Henry, but this is the 2013 Mattel one. For comparison, because it's probably a better comparison, but as you can see lengthwise, the new tenders are about a third the size bigger. However, the wheels on the actual tenders themselves are way smaller. But they do have the nice printed detail. I do like the prints on the wheels. The actual detailing on Henry's tender looks really nice. The number 3 looks really good. The coal, I like the plastic coal, looks really nice. You've got his little step area, which there's also a door right here, which isn't printed well, but that's what that extra section is. And then you have these rivets along the bottom here. And what's really interesting is that he has some rivet detailing, which came along during the season 23 redesigns. However, Henry and Edward were not engines to get those rivet details. And so I guess you can say that the wooden railway engines here have sort of like a what if they actually did get rivet details. And so it's actually kind of cool. So yeah. And so here's a comparison of his tender with Gordon's. As you can see, they are the same size. And yeah, both really nice tenders. So yeah, I'm very happy with that Henry tender, very good. And then here is Henry himself. He looks absolutely beautiful. Definitely one of, if not my favorite model in this range. His face looks very good, a very decent representation of the CGI Henry, at least expression-wise. Is it accurate? Probably not. 2013 Henry still has probably the best Henry face. The only one comparable to it is the one from the 90s. But, yeah, no, I definitely really like this Henry face. And again, as I said, his wheel configuration is literally perfect because he is a 460 in real life, and he is a 460 in this version of Henry. So I'm very happy with that. We finally get both of his domes. On all previous versions of Henry, he has never had 2 domes. And we finally get a Henry with 2 domes. I think the closest Henry that we got 2 domes with was the Thomas Wood one. And I'll actually go grab that one so that we can compare it to this one. All right, so yeah, but either way, here's the Thomas Wood Henry. As you can see, not even comparable. If I was to choose between either one of these Henrys, I would for sure pick this one. It just looks, it's so much better detailed. He's so much longer. He actually feels like what Henry should be. This doesn't. As much as I'm fine with the wood line, which I really am, I'm fine with the smaller engines. This would have been fine if this hadn't come before. If this isn't what came before, this would have been fine for a wooden toy line. But this is what we got previous. So it makes this look horrible. But, I mean, detail-wise, a lot of these both of these Henrys have very similar detailing. They actually have wheel splashers, except this one has 3D wheel splashers, this one is just an indent. They both have the 2 domes, however, this ones are printed, and these ones are 3D. They both have the black under the running board, however, this one not only has the black and the pistons, but also has a little bit of valve gear detailing. This one does not. This one has a firebox glow. This one does not. Like, the only thing that I think the Wood Henry does better is the face, which I actually do really genuinely like the face on the Wood Henry. I think it's a really nice face. I think it does do well to capture Henry, but like, the Wooden Railway Henry is just so much better, even tender-wise. This thing's just a block. It's a block of wood on wheels with some decals on it. This is a tender. Like, the difference is staggering. So, yeah, I don't know. If like, the entirety of the Wood Henry is just barely longer than the Wooden Railway one. Like, that's sad. So, but the Wooden Railway Henry looks absolutely beautiful. If we get a little bit more into the details, as you can see, you have all those rivets along the sides, as I was talking about. The rivets along the cab, the handrail along the top, the lining itself, which is all very crisply painted. You have buffer beam detailing, which this is a first for wooden railway lines, is having buffer beam detailing, because we didn't get it on wooden railway ever, really. I think there was like 3 engines who had it. I think one of them was like Steven, I think. Yeah, Steven was like one of the few engines to get buffer detailing. And Thomas Wood started it with the red buffer beams and red buffers, and then Thomas Wooden Railway continued it with the red buffer beams, but now we have black buffers. But he just looks absolutely great. And on the bottom it says Henry, and on the bottom of his tender it says Henry's Tender. But yeah, I'm very happy with this engine, and if you want to see him compared to Gordon, here is Gordon beside him. They both look very, very nice together, in my opinion. These are both the best versions of Gordon and Henry out there, definitely. Do I think they're as charming as the old Wooden Railway ones? Do I feel as nicely about them? No. I definitely prefer the old Wooden Railway Henry, just because it has a certain charm to it that these don't, because they're so detailed, because they're so incredibly detailed. Like, we like to compliment Mattel for giving their models lots of detail, but they never got too detailed. Like, it still stayed within the limits of old Wooden Railway, of the tender engines all had these bogey setups. There was never really any wheel splashers that were 3D. There was never buffer beam detailing. The detailing was still quite simple, regardless. This new wooden railway line, on the other hand, is so completely drastic. Like, insanely drastic. Like, even going from the 90s to the 2000s, the biggest difference that Thomas Wooden Railway changed in was going from little detailing on the boilers to actually getting detailing on the boilers. That was Thomas Wooden Railway's biggest change up till this. I do not consider wood a change. That was an entirely different line, technically. But this was the biggest change Thomas Wooden Railway has ever had. And honestly, it's a welcomed one. If Mattel's point is to be going for more collectors than children, then I think that this is a perfect route to go. Now, obviously, you can still give these to kids, because these are still wooden toys. These are still toy trains. But I think if they're trying to go for more collectors to buy them, I think they definitely managed to do that. And I think we can all agree that these are great. This is a beautiful Henry model. So I give this model probably like a 9 out of 10. And let's just display them alongside two other engines. So you got Thomas and Percy, who look pretty good beside him. Thomas looks a little big, but Thomas is just really big in this line, and I'll get to that when I get into my review of him, which he'll probably be the next review. But either way, thank you all so much for watching. This was Flying Scotsman 4472, signing out.